And then it turns out there was an admitted CIA operative, this has now been mainstream news confirmed, who was coming in with Kennedy that day. I mean, the list just goes on and on, Jim.
Yeah, it does. It really does. And you've got guys like Allard Lowenstein was a senator, and Dennis Sweeney walks into his office and shoots him, and then just sits there smiling, waiting on the police to arrive. And it turns out that Dennis Sweeney had been undergoing psychiatric treatment by Dr. Peter Bourne, who was Jimmy Carter's White House physician, who finally got dumped because he was writing bad drug scripts. And Peter Bourne and his father, Peter Bourne Sr., all operated the mental hospital on the island of Grenada, okay, which reportedly was where they were turning out these CIA brainwashed assassins. And yet when Maurice Bishop took over and became the leader on the island of Grenada, apparently they were fearful that he was kind of a left-leaning government, and so they apparently decided, he might blow the whistle on this hospital run by the Bournes. So what happened? We invaded the island of Grenada, ostensibly to rescue students, but interestingly enough, where all the troops landed was on the opposite side of the island from where the students were, but just happened to be on the side with the mental hospital, and the only real casualties were in the mental hospital on Grenada. Oops, got rid of another CIA brainwashing operation.
And it's the same history with the shooting of Ronald Reagan,
yep.
The fatal shooting of course, John Lennon. I want to talk about that some with Jim Marrs on the other side. His new book is a New York Times bestseller. He's had many. It's The $1 Trillion Conspiracy. Powerful information available at Infowars.com. And we'll be right back with Jim Marrs on the other side to look at those areas that we were just covering. I've got some tidbits I want to add dealing with Tim McVeigh. Stay with us.
Diamond Gusset is proud to announce the anthem of the Patriot Movement. They're offering a free CD, T-shirt, and bumper sticker with a qualifying purchase. Diamond Gusset offers great products at great prices while keeping Americans working.
I'm looking for a factory where a man can feed his family, not worried about them moving it south, closing the doors and shutting her down tomorrow. I'm looking for America.
Wear American and be proud. Go to Gusset.com/America.
The land of the free and the home of the brave. Seems like I just woke up one day and it was gone, long gone. But I know in my heart it's still
Again, go to Gusset.com/America today.
Hello, this is Alex Jones with some important questions. If you're going into a battle and they give you a rifle and a sidearm, how much ammunition do you want? My answer would be all I can get. In the battle for freedom and the lives of your loved ones, food is your only ammunition. How much do you want? When do you want it? Now or after the battle starts? When will you need it? Can you buy it without proper identification? Will there be any food? Will it make your children sick? If there's a quarantine and you can't feed yourself, will you go to the gathering center and be immunized? You wipe out all these problems if you have a good food supply. Food is your ammunition to fight for your freedom and your life. How much will you need? We don't know. How much do you want? All you can get. I'm Alex Jones. I want all of you good guys to live to fight another day. Call 1-800-409-5633 or check it out on the web at efoodsdirect.com. Again, that number, 1-800-409-5633.
A very wealthy U.S. citizen is predicting that in 2011, we will witness the most important day in America in more than 50 years. He says it will change everything about our lives. The way you shop, travel, invest, educate your children, and even how you take care of your health and your own family. Now, this man has made some outrageous predictions over the years. The crazy part is, he's usually right. You see, he predicted the collapse of GM, Fannie Mae, Freddie Mac, and America's biggest mall owner, General Growth Properties. In fact, Barron's called his work a dire prophecy. Recently, he created a video, which you can watch online for free, detailing his biggest and most important prediction yet. And it's a real eye-opener. I can't stress this enough. You should at least watch this free video online today. He explains everything you need to know, including simple steps you can take to protect yourself. You can find the video at www.endofamerica3.com. That's endofamerica, the number 3.com. Watch the free video at www.endofamerica3.com. That's endofamerica3.com. Folks, you've heard us talk about Home Gain before. Home Gain is now offering a special promo where you get up to $150 when you buy or sell a home with a Home Gain agent you find through their Find a Realtor program. Home Gain lets you compare realtors anonymously. It's easy. Go to homegain150.com to find and compare realtors anonymously. Enter promo code HOMEGAIN150 and receive up to $150 when you close a deal with a Home Gain agent. Share the Home Gain 150 promo code with your friends via Facebook, Twitter, text, and more. Look for Max, the Home Gain Gorilla, to find out more about how Home Gain is going to pay you. Visit HomeGain150.com today to enter your promo code and get paid for buying or selling a house. That's HomeGain150.com.
Coast to coast, direct from Austin. You're listening to the Alex Jones Broadcasting Network.
All right, we're back live with Jim Marrs, journalist, best-selling author. He's going to stay with us a little bit in the next segment because he's got some really bombshell information dealing with what happened a month ago with that Chinese missile. He's even got an admission on CNN and how it ties together with that stalled cruise ship in the same area. That's coming up with Jim in the next segment. Now, Jim, obviously our hearts and prayers go out to everybody who was injured and killed and their families dealing with this guy. But on so many fronts, it just screams mind control. But he may just be a violent schizophrenic dressing up as the Grim Reaper, burning the American flag and praising the Communist Manifesto, which then the Southern Poverty Law Center, big defenders and stuff like that, says that he's a conservative. Last time I checked, it meant he was the opposite. But, I mean, regardless, they're really trying to use this as a political weapon. But I wanted to bring up Jolyon West. He was admittedly in the MKUltra hearings, the number 2 guy under Dr. Ewing Cameron, and you know who they are, but I want you to elaborate. But for those that don't know, Dr. Ewing Cameron was the head of the MKUltra program. He ran operations in Canada and the U.S. They've had History Channel specials with young girls. They'd get out of foster homes and erase their memories and give them new names for government service, and the months of LSD, years of audio piped in with psychological compulsions, sex slaves. I mean, this all came out. Jolyon West, a guy that worked with him, admitted mind control doctor, when McVeigh goes to Denver for the trial, then when he goes to Terre Haute, Indiana for the years he's there for execution, that's his doctor on record. I mean, in the newspaper. How dumb do they think we are, Jim Marrs?
Well, exactly. And to add some substance to what you just said was I once talked to Dr. Julian Murdoch, who was the doctor who was caring for Jack Ruby in the Dallas County Jail. And he said that towards the end of the summer of 1966, that he had examined Ruby and he was perfectly okay. He said then the next thing that happened was he showed up one day and they said, well, your services are no longer needed. A doctor had come down from Washington and is going to take care of Ruby, and that turned out to be Dr. Jolly West.
Same guy.
Same guy. And
Whoa.
then a few months later, and then Ruby smuggles notes out of the Dallas County Jail and says they are injecting cancer into him. Then a month or two later, the news reports he's taken to Parkland Hospital with pneumonia, and then about a few weeks later, they said no, it's not pneumonia, it's lung cancer, and then just about a month later, he's dead. They said of lung cancer. Now, I had a fellow who attended my courses on the Kennedy assassination there at the University of Texas at Arlington, who worked for Southwest Medical School and operated their electron microscope. And he said that he was commissioned to study Ruby's cancer cells, and that they were not of the respiratory system, but of the intestinal system, the digestion system. And when he went to his boss and he said, look, the news is reporting that Ruby died of lung cancer, but these cells show that it was in his digestion system. His boss, who had been real friendly and had been real nice to him, just got real hard-nosed and cold and said, shut up, don't ever say anything about that again.
Well, by the way, as you know, down in New Orleans, I was down there with Ventura investigating this. They were testing injectable cancer, and now we know most cancer is viral in nature, and there's been huge Pentagon programs for more than 50 years, the Rockefellers going back over 80, testing and developing transmittable cancer, and almost every sewer system in the world tests positive for communicable SV40, which has caused many of the rare cancers to become very common, which was added to the Dr. Salk polio vaccine.
Right. And by the way, while Oswald was in New Orleans in the summer of 1963, he went to the office of the New Orleans district attorney and met with an assistant district attorney named Edward Gillen and asked him about LSD. He wanted to know, said he had a supplier, and he wanted to take some LSD. He'd been experimenting with it and wanted to take it into Mexico and wanted to know if that was legal. So Lee Harvey Oswald apparently was also on the fringe of this mind control experiment that was going on with the CIA, the military.
Well, it's been declassified that the military gave the LSD in masses in the 50s and 60s to the universities.
Exactly. That's another thing that most people do not understand. We all know, or most of the people, especially older folks that grew up, know about Timothy Leary and the drug revelation of the 60s and the drug revolution on the campuses. But what nobody really knows, and has been not only documented but admitted to by the CIA, that there would have been no drug revolution of the 1960s except for the CIA that got a total monopoly on the quantity of LSD and then farmed it out to these universities for study to find out if they could make it as a truth serum or as a mind-controlled substance. And that's what, then so all of a sudden, this total thing that was under total control of CIA is out on all these campuses, and then these professors and then their labs and their lab assistants and their girlfriends, they all started taking LSD, and then they moved on to other stuff, and that's what started the drug revolution of the 1960s, our own government. Your tax dollars in action.
This just out, Pima County Sheriff sets off debate on price of free speech. They're now blaming free speech for this demonic, schizophrenic demon, whoever he was. And it turns out he'd been making all sorts of statements about how he was going to kill everybody for years at college, but nobody stopped him. Isn't it funny how they never stop him? Isn't it funny? But then, I tell you, or how these government operatives like Hal Turner could call for violence for years and not get in trouble. It says heightened and vitriolic political rhetoric, how the government's destroying our country, is being blamed by some for the kind of violence that landed Arizona Representative Gabrielle Giffords in intensive care following a mass casualty shooting on Saturday. But others say a blame game is hardly appropriate or useful right now. Yeah, they're blaming libertarians, conservatives, people that want to audit the Fed. This guy had all sorts of ramblings. I mean, he also, of course, was an atheist. I mean, let's ban people being atheist. He also loved communism. I mean, I'm sick of it. He dressed up like a Grim Reaper. Are we going to ban Halloween costumes now?
Yeah, you hit a real sore point with me, Alex, in that, they're always attacking people like you for simply raising questions and raising your voice and questioning what is the government doing, why are they doing this, who's behind all this, which to me falls under free speech. And yet the people who for months or years said, I'm going to kill somebody. Let's go kill everybody. They seem to just slide on through. That, that's their free speech.
Yeah, it's not free speech when you say, I'm going to go kill this person. Now it's a terroristic threat. Now it's a call to action. Listen to this sheriff. I think the vitriolic rhetoric that we hear today out from people in the radio business and some on TV business, he goes on to say that has not, because the